What does Devin say about the ads on Twitch? I don't know. What has he said? Hold on. 24.5 minutes.
Twitch is in trouble. The platform has had its fair share of controversies over the years, but this one we're going to talk about is particularly bad. I'm Devin Nash. I'm the CMO over at Novo, a brand advertising agency. And in this,
what do you think of the actual concept of the art for Hassan's merch, a guillotine outside of the White House? I don't know. That the whole thing is just like so cringy to me. It feels like it just feels like an episode of The Boys. I don't know how to, like, the idea that like a super white, ultra wealthy guy living in WeHo is like having all of his super white wealthy fans who are like 18 to 22 who are all from like rich families, like buying merch of like guillotining political. It's just so fucking cringe. God, it's so cringe. We should, you know who I'm at. You know who's going to add it to the list? I want to know if it's true or not. And we are going to add him to the list. Che Guevara. I've only read like brief things of this. I want to know if it's true. If this guy is as base as he seems to be. One day I'll spell his name correctly. I have not super read a lot into different revolutionary figures or whatever, but typically the way that it would go as a communist is like you fight for the people. You want to do a revolution. You want to save the people. You want to have a people's republic. You fight against these horrible dictatorial people, the Batistas, all these crazy people that work, right? But then what happens is as soon as the communists get in power, they're like, actually, this is actually kind of based. And authoritarianism is actually kind of cool. So we're just going to vanguard this for a while. And let's just like chill on the people's stuff. We'll like change the name of everything, and we'll just kind of like, we'll call it the people's whatever, and then like I'll just like get all the money and influence, and we'll just like kill everybody who disagrees. That's like based, right? And we'll just like chill in government. This is actually awesome. Okay, seems to be the way that a lot of the communist people kind of go. But Che Guevara seemed to be the guy who was like, we're gonna do the revolution, and we're gonna blow all the people up, and then now that we've installed this like new people's government, now I'm gonna go somewhere else, and I'm gonna go blow that government up and fight for the revolution. And he died. I'm pretty sure he just died. In where? In South America? He got captured by some people. He said like, fuck you. They shot him and killed him while he was he just seemed like he was like, I do believe in fighting for the revolution. And he goes and he does it. He did it over and over again until he died. He seemed pretty commendable. But he also was homophobic when he was like 19 or something. People got real mad. In the Congo? Oh, okay. But I don't know. Che Guevara seems, even if I don't agree with his views or his socials or any of that, at least he seemed like he fought for what he believed in. And I can respect that. All right. Isn't leaving and not ensuring the next country succeeds kind of childish? On the contrary, actually, one of my most important qualities for an individual is to know what you're good at and to know what you're not good at, and then to find other people to shore up your weaknesses. I think it's a really important quality in a leader. I think a really good example of being maybe an okay military guy and not being a good political leader but not realizing the difference is Yasser Arafat. Yasser Arafat had middling success as a military leader, but that's all he ever was, and that was probably all he could ever be. That's why he showed up to all of his negotiations in his stupid fucking military outfit. That's why he sucked at politics. He sucked at negotiations. He sucked at peace. All he could ever really see himself as was like a revolutionary general. And he never really adopted the mantle of Palestinian leader, political leader, very effectively, I think. Another great example in history, I'm not as up on like the medieval European shit, but Robert Baratheon had a lot of trouble as well. Led a full-on revolution, deposed authoritarian, autocratic, murderous dictator, became a king in his own right, but wasn't good at leading. Not good. Leads to a lot of chaos.
This video, I'm going to describe the problem that Twitch is going on through right now and what is happening. Please do remember to subscribe if this video has some kind of positive effect on you. And
God, fuck. Do you remember, why did you do that? Who brought it up? Who said it?
The whore is pregnant. You're speaking of murdering a child.
I warned you this would happen back in the north. I warned you, but you didn't care to hear. Well, hear it now. I want them dead. Mother and child both. And that fool Viserys as well. Is that plain enough for you? I want them both dead.
You'll dishonor yourself forever if you do this.
Honor?
I don't know how I could watch. I tried so hard to watch the Dragon show or whatever. I made it like 2 or 3 episodes in. Their small council meetings were so boring. This is just dialogue. This show is so good.
I've got 7 kingdoms to rule. 1 king, 7 kingdoms. Do you think honor keeps them in line? Do you think it's honor that's keeping the peace? It's fear. Fear and blood.
Then we're no better than the Mad King.
Careful, Ned. Careful now.
You want to assassinate a girl?
I don't know. This is me seeing things out of where it doesn't make any sense or whatever. I really respect actors. It's a combination of acting well, writing well, and also having a good director. I love it when an actor is able to finally express conflicting emotions, right? Robert and Ned go way the fuck back, right? Robert would never hurt Ned. There's just no way. I don't think he could ever do it. But holy fuck, does Ned test him as king, right? Where he just, Robert, I don't think Robert would ever kill Ned, but I think Robert would beat the shit out of him, right? I think that's the kind of person, it feels like that's the kind of relationship, at least. I don't know anything before, but that's at least that's what's sold on screen. I love the conflict where Robert's like, God, you're just so fucking annoying to deal with, you know?
Careful now.
You want to assassinate a girl? Because the spider heard a rumor.
Not trying to be a dick, but don't you criticize Hassan for not engaging with content which criticizes him? How is that different from not addressing the claims made by Brittany? I don't criticize Hassan for not engaging with people that needlessly dive into weird personal life rumors or whatever. If Brittany wants to attack me on political beliefs or things I've said, that's fine. But for people that just want to try to farm random aspects of my personal life, no, I don't think you need to address all those things. Fuck that. That's crazy. That's wild.
You're my counsel. Counsel! Speak sense to this honorable fool.
I understand your misgivings, my lord. Truly, I do. It is a terrible thing we must consider, a vile thing. Yet we who presume to rule must sometimes do vile things for the good of the realm. Should the gods...
Fuck, I used to say, I was super critical of all the CGI sets on that horrible god-awful movie. I don't remember what it was called. The French one? I don't even know. Remember the name of I don't even know. Napoleon, yeah. God, what a terrible movie. But I think actually, is this backdrop? Is this all CGI'd? This set is CGI, isn't it? I think it is. I think there's just a table here. I don't even know if this pillar is real. Does anybody know? Is there a video of this set? It might be CGI'd. But a shot well, it's fine. I didn't even notice it, right? It might be. No, maybe. No, maybe.
Sometimes do vile things for the good of the realm. Should the gods grant Daenerys a son, the realm will bleed.
I bear this girl no ill will, but should the Dothraki invade, how many innocents will die? How many towns will burn? Is it not wiser, kinder even, that she should die now?
Why do you think that? I don't know. I don't know why I think that. I don't know why I get the impression that the background is CGI'd, that wall is CGI'd.
So that tens of
when the full table was in view, that was my feeling.
thousands might live.
We should have had them both killed years ago.
When you find yourself in bed with an ugly woman, best close your eyes, get it over with. Cut her throat. Be done with it.
I followed you into war. Twice. Without doubts. Without second thoughts. But I will not follow you now. The Robert I grew up with didn't tremble at the shadow of an unborn child.
She dies.
I will have no part in it.
You're the king's hand, Lord Stark. You'll do as I command, or I'll find me a hand who will.
Oof. Ned is being unreasonable here, right? I think Ned is in some ways honorable to a fault, maybe. He just doesn't exist well I don't know. Actually, that's a really difficult question to answer. This is like an English literature review. Like, you could probably answer a lot. Like, is Ned correct here or is Ned wrong here? I think, like, my intuitive thought is that Ned is a man who is too honorable for the political nature of King's Landing. That, or wait, is it King's Landing? That's the name of this place, right? That Ned could never exist or function in a place like this because it demands too much compromise, I guess, at least to work with this king. He just can't do it.
And good luck to him. I thought you were a better man.
Out, damn you, I've done with you! Go run back to Winterfell! I'll have your head on a spike! I'll put it there myself, you fool! You think you're too good for this? Too proud and honorable? This is a war!
Not at all. The king appointed him hand so he could stand strong against him and not be like the other cowards in the council. He even goes back to him later when he dies, I think, telling him he was right about the girl and the assassination should be canceled. Maybe. I mean, like, I think he chose Ned, I think because he probably, I think, oh man, I'm reading a lot of this because I haven't read any of the books. My feeling is he just chose Ned because Ned was a close friend that he trusted, because Ned is a really good man. And I think Robert Baratheon sees that and respects that. Yeah. It's not like Ned was the first pick either, right? Because Jon Arryn, I think, was the hand before, right? Also, Ned is loyal to Robert as well, right? Robert doesn't have to second guess that at all. So he didn't want any pushback. I'm sure that he did. I'm sure he wanted pushback, I guess. But the two chief things are that that Ned is loyal, and he's a good man. He wouldn't do any like weird skeevy shit. Because keep in mind, like, the Lannisters are like fucking everywhere, right? Jon Arryn is dead. The Lannisters, who'd already backstepped the last king, by the way, and he'd married one of them, the most powerful, influential family here. I think it's probably just the loyalty thing. I think it's probably the big thing. So remember that Ned's way of doing things was ultimately vindicated due to how shit the realm was under the Lannisters. To remember that Ned's way of doing things was ultimately vindicated. I mean, it's I was about to say, well, it's a fantasy show, of course, but I don't know if that's not a good response. Was Ned's way of doing things ultimately vindicated? I'm not sure. I don't know if I would have to think about that a lot. It's hard because if the author wants Ned's way to be vindicated, then Ned's way will be vindicated. But if we were looking at this as in a non-fictional way, counterfactually, if Ned Stark would have been a bit more schemy, there's a world where things turn out way better, where he doesn't confront Cersei and tell her, hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave because I don't want you to get fucking, murdered with all your children. Where Ned is just like a bit more schemy. But Ned's way was vindicated by Jon Snow doing the honorable thing and letting Bran the Broken take the throne. True. Ugh. What do you think of Tony Soprano as a character? He's way more interesting than any Game of Thrones characters. I think the Game of Thrones characters are decently interesting. I'm only up to episode 5 or 6, I think, in The Sopranos. I really like it so far, though. So far, I really like it. Oof. I hope it's going to be a really good show. I think it's going to be a pretty good show. But I'm watching it with Lena, and she's out of the country. I'm waiting for her to come back, so... Somebody just wrote a comment in chat that triggered me. Having to do with Ned being dead. And then I remembered The Long Night. And they were like, quick, to the crypts with the women and children, to next to all of the dead people. Oh... Do you think that Ned should have sat on the throne when Jaime killed the Mad King? It seems like this is true in real life too. whether it comes to moderating platforms or being an admin or being a leader or being a whatever, it seems like there's a very weird tension, or there's a very weird it's not a tension, a contradiction between the qualities of a person who would be a good leader versus the quality of a person who would want to be a leader, that a lot of these things are contradictory to one another. This is exemplified in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. When was Dumbledore the one who made it so this only appears in the pockets of people who don't want to use it? Is that... He's explaining this at some point. I don't remember. I don't remember if he made it so or if he just discovered that it was like that. But yeah, that's like an example of, you know, how do you keep corrupt power away from corrupt individuals, or corrupting power away from corrupt individuals, and it's by only giving it to people that don't want it, basically, right? So yeah, I don't know. Like, would Ned have been a better king? Maybe, but I don't know if he wanted... I don't think that character would have ever wanted to be king. I mean, like, Jon Snow, right? Didn't ever want to be king. And he maybe would have been a good king, but he didn't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. That was just a function of the mirror. You don't become a leader. You are chosen by others as a leader. Fuck, that, I don't know if these got recorded as we get to the Israeli footage. That Dr. Mordecai Kadar guy told me a lot of interesting things about, like, Middle Eastern society, older Middle Eastern society. I don't know how much of it was true or not. But a lot of stories about how, like, when a leader would die, there would be, like, a meeting of all the people that would get together to figure out, like, who the next family leader, who the next leader person would be. And everybody kind of had an understanding. Everybody kind of knew. And there would just kind of be, like, a quiet consensus over who the next leader would be. But very rarely was it ever like a guy who was just, I'm going to be the next leader. A lot of interesting ways that they would structure, I guess, like, decisions and whatnot as well. That a lot of stuff was done kind of, you'd have the person in charge, he would make all the decisions, you weren't allowed to second guess him, but, like, him and his family would eat last. So if he had decisions to make about hunting, crops, food, whatever else, he would make them, but if shit was fucked, his family was the one that was eating last, so he would be the most fucked for it. So he would always be incentivized to, I guess, to do what is right. Or that part of the reasons why the Emiratis, part of the reasons why there'd be success in some of these places is because you'd have two people who were, like, close in family relation, and they'd find somebody unrelated to, like, take care of business for them because they wouldn't be able to do it without accusing the other favorite and whatever bullshit. I don't know, just a lot of random shit like that. But, man, I don't know. Weird stuff. It's like the Plato's idea that the best leader is the one that does it because it would be fucked if someone else would become the leader. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
These marketing and social media topics are interesting to you. So first, we got to kind of explain the problem. And I started off in October by making...
I've noticed one of the biggest issues with leftists online is a lack of desire to engage/discuss popular media, TV, etc. Glad you're not like that. Yeah, it seems kind of weird that there's, like, this weird schism where people on the far left, because I think, hasn't the left oftentimes been considered, like, the driver of culture? It feels like they aren't engaging in it much. Am I wrong on that? I don't know if that's an intuitive feeling I just developed based on that chat comment, or if that's true. Like, I don't know how often people on the far left are engaging with, like, popular culture as much versus people on the right. Do they? Joe Rogan definitely does. He's a cultural icon. Don't people still consider Hollywood left? Yeah, but they are... But Hollywood is, like, center left, I think. Or left... No, fuck. I think there's different factions of the left that are worth... I'll think about this at a later point. Because you have, like... The right is, like, over here. I don't know. You have, like, on the left, you've got, like, center-left Democrats. And then you have, like, your wokey progressives. Also your woke tards and progressives. And it feels like a lot of the culture sometimes can be dictated or driven by these guys, maybe. So, like, we need to have black trans women in everything, or all black people, or all Egyptians were African American, whatever. I don't know, like, those types of people. But then you've got, like, it feels like these people aren't as much in the media sphere, or they drive, like, cancel culture. But then you have like your socialists, like your actual, like your tanky types like your Hassans, your Brianna Joy Grays. Basically, these are like all the hardcore fuck America people. But I don't feel like they actually end up aligning with the wokies a lot. They will when it comes to things like fuck America, but they don't talk about like the trans issues and all that as much. That's like for the wokies to deal with. They're here on like the fuck American foreign policy, fuck America and the rich, fuck the billionaires right here. So they'll align sometimes with these guys. I don't know. We should, but it's interesting watching Hassan do this. I wish I had more clips. Hassan is really good. I don't know if I'd say he's good at this, but Hassan does this thing where I've watched on stream where he said, I think we must have seen this on stream because that's the only time I watch him. He said on stream before things like, "Oh no, like you guys are getting caught up in this. You guys are getting caught up in this stupid class stuff. Like this is rainbow capitalism. You're getting caught up in this dumb identity politics. Liberals do this where they care about identity politics, right? But then if you attack Hassan too much, he will come over here and be like, "Whoa, I just want free healthcare and stuff for people. These guys hate me because I'm Arab. These guys hate me because I'm an Arab. What the fuck?" Where do you think you fit into all this? I think the golden zone is, I think like right here. I like this. The center left crossover with the progressive stuff. I'm a huge fan of progressivism. I'm a huge fan of how much we've built out so many different spaces on the internet to be more inclusive of people. A solid capitalist, though, huge supporter of liberalism. I think people go a little bit too far on the woke scolding stuff. But yeah, I think that's the base zone. Two years ago in Valuetainment, you said that Republicans lost the culture war. Was that a misread? When I'm fighting with people, I would usually say Republicans have lost the culture war. I have said that a lot in the past. Republicans lost the culture war. I feel like that was right. I think I'm right on that. I think that but they assimilated into the new culture, right? So if you think about like a few years ago, if you think about the big hallmarks of republicanism, right? What are we? We're huge, like big business, mega corporation, billionaire supporting, hawkish foreign policy, like all of your media stars, right? Because Joe Rogan was still, I guess, supposedly on the left, like all these, right? All the media and everything was kind of like left leaning. Yeah, and in America, you had your huge upset in 2020. Yeah, and gay marriage and all the social issues. And it feels like, yeah, for the most part, it seems like they had lost the culture war. But then the new Republicans have different cultural values. So I think some of it has been subsumed into the Republican Party, right? Where you have now, we joked about this before. God, that one picture is just so fucking perfect. The picture of the stereotypical Jew is going to kill the white guy, and then the brave arm comes out with the Nazi armband, and it's a brown hand. And he's like, "Let me help you, friend." It's like... Yeah, so in a way, I guess like the newer Republicans are stronger. The new Republicans are stronger, but it's because they have been molded and they've existed now more effectively in the current cultural zeitgeist, right? They become more populist, less mega corporation. They become more protectionist, less like globalist. They become more isolationist, less hawkish. They're accepting of some things, like the gay people are fine now, and black people and colored people are fine now. But not trans is too far, right? So the only like tying issue I would say is probably abortion, yeah. Tiny in my country, social conservatism is tied to economic liberalism quite a bit, as opposed to progressivism/protectionism. But now in the U.S., it's kind of switched. Why do you think that is? Isn't this called like third position? I don't know. That's just how it's been in the U.S. I couldn't tell you historically why. The home math guy is a huge fucking conservative simp, but he hides his power level, so I don't care. I'm not reading that. People that hide their power level trigger the fuck out of me. Okay, sorry.
Making a post about what was happening. Basically, I went up on Twitter and I said, hey, there is a huge advertising problem with Twitch, and we are going to be in a nightmare situation where Twitch is going to not have enough ads to run the website. And this is because they're going through a kind of same type of YouTube adpocalypse that YouTube went through in 2017. I wrote up a whole thing on that, and it got some traction. Lots of people were saying that this is never going to happen. And of course, I don't know, what are we, 16 days later, here we are. So streamers are reporting that ad revenue is going down. In fact, several large broadcasters have said that their revenue has dropped as much as 95%. Lots of people saying that their revenue used to be $10,000 a day and is now $2,000 a day. Lots of people saying that there are some huge problems on Twitch with ad revenue. And recently we saw a person end November and accidentally leaked their ad revenue, and they actually made $71,000 off of ads with about 6,000 average viewers on a 24-hour subathon. So those numbers seem to have gone the way of the dinosaur, and we're going to kind of discuss like what happened there and why that is. You also can take a look at some of the controversies happening. So, and that's one of the notable advertising firms has posted their continued concerns as well as encouraged a lot of the...
I will say one thing you got to be really careful too about understanding the landscape of the advertising stuff is a lot of these sentiments are based off of like 3 or 4 big streamers complaining about things. It'd be nice if there was a way to survey or access like 20, 30, 40 like non-political streamers to figure out, you know?
Advertisers on Twitch to poll. So what is happening basically is Twitch has had inconsistent enforcement of extreme content for years, and that can be political. It can also be just kind of offensive type of stuff. Basically, all kinds of different things that.
It's wild that everyone's personal accounts vary so much. Maybe one of the things that I think this comes up on my Matt Brunig thing, which will be posted hopefully in a week or so. One thing to think about is that people are not aggregates. People are not medians. People are not averages. People have incredibly varied lives. I make this joke a lot on stream when I say like there's no human being in the United States that has like 1.9 children, right? So like your own personal life can go up or down, or there's a lot of things that could happen. It can be hard to see an aggregate economic effect and how it manifests in an individual's life. It's out now? Wait, my full Matt Brunig convo is out now? Bridges, YouTube. On Spotify. Oh, it's posted to Spotify. Okay.
Advertisers don't want to be a part of. Okay. And this inconsistent enforcement has since been noticed by the by a couple of communities that are kind of getting together to let advertisers know about the Twitch ads.
If they were pulling ads, wouldn't all the viewers notice? Like tons of people should be saying that they aren't seeing ads on streaming. Yeah, that's like it's an intuition that I have, is that it's so hard to say though, right? Because remember, perception is reality, as perception is reality, as perception is reality, right? It's hard to say if there has been a significant change in ads. Like if it had been that 90% of the advertising, 70% of the advertising have been scaled back, would you have expected to see way more people say something? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Situation and how bad it is. And with a lot of emails out,
Does
and
Patreon
also
have
just
the video version? Patreon will have the OBS auto video version, yes. Fuck, I see how poorly I promote this other Patreon now. Don't worry, this is all part of my shit I've been working on in the background. We'll work on it more today. Fuck it. I just have to do it. I have to figure this out. I've got to do this. It's okay. Once it's rolling, it's rolling.
Yeah. Attention on Twitch, it's now becoming apparent that Twitch is platforming a lot of, frankly, just like really extremist type of content. And this came to a head with a lot of the political rhetoric that was going on pre-election in November. So the first thing to kind of understand about
what is the J6 video? It's where they're working on it. I recorded a bunch of audio for it last night. I set up like a secondary. I had like I set all the recording stuff up for it, and I did a bunch of line reading yesterday. My God, I hate reading. I can't. Doing scripted content is so hard. Oh, I can't show we can't watch it. They're B-raw files. These are like fucking 100 gigabyte files. Fuck that. But please do more studio streams with Pixie. They were entertaining. Yeah, fuck. I wish I had more people to pull in. Oh my God, Pisco fucking mind-seeded poisoned me. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if any of you guys ever have this feeling. When I fly back to Omaha, I get really bad feelings because of just my past there is not that great. And also just the city seems like very, like there's nothing for me in this city. I don't mean to sound like I'm not better than the Midwest or Omaha or anything like that. I don't mean to say, it's just not my place. It's not my people. There are no opportunities for me. It's just nothing. And sometimes I get that feeling with Miami. LA, every time I go to LA or New York City, there's so many people I know, even just walking on the streets, especially in New York City. It's just like, this is it. This is where I need to be. But I don't know. It's expensive, man. Fuck. Tax calculator. It doesn't, I don't know why I care about this. I always say I have too much money. I'm not doing anything with it. You're way too hung up on taxes in New York City. Yeah, I think I probably am. I could also just have two places and go back and forth. New York City zip code is really 10001? Seriously? Okay. Jesus Christ. Effective tax rate living in New York City, 46.07%. Oh my God. I don't know. I'd have to think about it a lot. I'd be giving up my, I'd have to basically drop anything else, which would not be ideal. I have 2 apartments here. I like how quick and easy it is for me to get to the airport. Miami Airport's nice. JFK is really nice. Like flying people in here is easy. Flying people into JFK and then shuttling them to the city. Why would you move to New York? It's just the only thing that's scary to me is not being in New York is it's so easy to just grab people. Like, who's in New York? Everybody. What do you every single person in media is in New York. Where does Brian live? Brian Tyler Cohen. Like, there are so many media people that work in like all your big major network studios are there. Like, is there a world where I just like shoot a DM to like Anderson Cooper? I'm like, hey, can you just like drop by my studio? Like, let's just shoot it, whatever. Like, I'm not necessarily, not even just him necessarily, but there's just so many people. Yeah, I don't know. Why not DC? Fuck DC. Would you move to Toronto? I'm never moving out of the country. Fuck that. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know. I'll think about this more. It's unlikely I would move there, but this is not real, right? Is this I never know which of these stupid fucking Twitter accounts are meme accounts. Breaking 911. I have no idea. I never know. President-elect Trump nominates Dr. Oz to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This is a troll, right? This is a meme account. America's #1 alternative news source. Or this is stupid. I just have to Google it. Okay, no, this is not true. Right? Wait. Oh no. Oh no. It is true. Bro, get me the fuck. You know what? Actually, never mind. I'm fine. I'm okay with it. Let it. This is natural selection at work, all right? Just like with Nick Mertz's kids. Okay. Natural selection. Let's go, all right? Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like we're stuck between doing normal content, like AE, and doing like big media stuff for politics constantly. And if you stay here, it's easy to do the first, and New York City would make it easier to do the latter. Just as a quick thing, I'm not going to debate my community much on this, because I don't care, because I know I'm right. The obsession between like, oh, we got to go full pro, we got to get out of these like degenerate, we got to go full whatever, we got to get out of this degenerate stuff, is like, that dichotomy of being able to do multiple types of content. When you ask about like, why does the right have a Joe Rogan and we don't have a Joe Rogan on the left? That's the reason why, is because Joe Rogan was like a culturally, would you say degenerate almost? Like, fuck, what was that show? Fear Factor. That was a degenerate show. Like half the challenges were like eating bugs. Okay. Like, Jesus. This obsession with like, oh, we're not gonna be taken seriously in media, guys, the fucking drama. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, chill. My God. But there are decisions to be made about where to allocate my time, which is true. Is Congress going to approve all these nominations? It's only the Senate that has to, and I mean, it's Trump sycophant, so, or recess appointments, so who knows? Okay.
What is happening here is that this is basically an exact copy of something that happened before, and that is the 2017 YouTube Adpocalypse. It's like actually a cut and paste. And what happened in 2017 was there was a YouTuber who most of you probably know, and his name was...
Unironically, the only person I could see being close to a Joe Rogan would be like Mark Cuban, but that dude is sort of doesn't give a fuck. I don't know if Mark Cuban is as much embedded. I don't think he's anywhere near as much as Joe Rogan. But I will say Mark Cuban does seem to be like the only guy who's making a really big effort to be more involved. We should. I don't know how we haven't spoken to him yet. Wait. We should make a tweet. Hold on. Fuck. I feel like this should have happened by now. It feels like he makes the round on smaller shows, right? Fuck, I don't even know how I would structure this. Well, I need to think about it. I'm adding this to my to-do. We'll put it on the short. Mark Cuban somehow. Okay.
It's PewDiePie. And he said some offensive stuff. And a bunch of media, particularly the Wall Street Journal, which at the time had a lot more readers, basically said, hey...
Fuck! There are also a few companies online that I think I've added immense value to, and I think it's a huge mistake that I don't have sponsors from these people. I feel like I'm so curious how much I've moved Obsidian products online. Like there are people in that Obsidian subreddit that I see where people post, oh my God, how do you do this on Obsidian? Or I saw this product, and they're posting pictures. They edit my picture out. They'll post pictures from my, from my stream. DOS keyboard was another one, yeah. I wonder how much Soylent I've sold too. Probably 90% of Obsidian users come from you. Absolutely not. Obsidian was a decently big program before I ever mentioned it. But like, if it was the case that like 1 to 2% of Obsidian users came from my stream, I would be super flattered if that was the case. Like, I think that would be I'd be happy with an impact like that. Do you remember the
Still trash talking. You can't stop it. Well, your trash talking was so good you actually dropped an F-bomb, before the game here when I interviewed you, and so I've just been informed that you've actually been fined $15,000. And it's okay, though, because it's going to a good cause. It's going to Cyber Smile. Do you take back the F-bomb, or you're standing by it?
So if I say it again, I have to pay another $15K?
Yeah, you want to up it to $30,000?
Fuck it.
He's a funny guy. I feel like Mark Cuban's a funny dude. I like him on the when he was on the they've got like 20 shows that are like Dragon's Den. I don't know if he's on all of them. I think he's a funny dude there. I'm glad that he's like doing more shows and he's like trying to do more outreach. We need more billionaire representation because somehow the party of the common man has been completely captured by billionaire interests. What the fuck? How the fuck are Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump like the everyman? Jesus. I've used Obsidian to write documentation for years, but Markdown in general is not commonly used. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Markdown. Yeah, I don't know. False Markdown is heavy in software development world. Oh, okay, maybe, I don't know. Markdown is great, mainly because it's very transferable. Is that true? I feel like that's one of the weaknesses of Markdown. But I could be a total fucking retard, by the way. I don't know. Like, I feel like different people have different implementations or different features from Markdown sometimes. Or if it was just like CSS or HTML, like theoretically you can copy paste that anywhere where you can have HTML or CSS. I feel like it's more transferable, but it's harder to write, I guess. I don't know. I use JavaScript on my website to turn Markdown into HTML using JavaScript. Oh, okay. It's not used by the masses. It's used everywhere from Reddit, GitHub to Discord, etc. Oh, all right. Markdown is very simple syntax. HTML, CSS is very verbose and conversing. Yeah, true. I mean, but you'd probably build like your own little, what would you call it? Like a layer? Or what would you call it if I had a program where it's like, oh, you know, type this thing to bold, but it's really just inserting HTML or CSS? I don't know.
This is crazy. And a lot of these ad people, the advertisers.
Markdown is just simplified CSS. Well, I feel like in that case, literally every single text augmentation would be, or text change could be called simplified CSS, right? Like, I feel like that's I don't think you can position elements with Markdown. Yeah, I don't know how I would say that, but also, I don't know. What am I? I don't know any web shit.
A lot more readers basically said, hey, this is crazy. And a lot of these ad people, the advertisers, suddenly started realizing that their ads were being shown in front of this kind of content. And so this person says something, and now these ads are getting shown next to it, and people are getting really angry. They're getting a lot of emails, and bad stuff is happening. And so YouTube says, shoot, okay, well, we have no ad targeting. So without ad targeting, we really can't control where these ads are showing up versus what is anywhere. So we can't tell what's going to happen. And so now without this ad targeting, the ads are going crazy, and there's ads on all kinds of types of content. And now this got worse and worse and worse, and YouTubers started to see ad drops of 70 to 80%. Does this sound familiar? So all of a sudden, basically, the whole website is going up. The primary way that people make money off of YouTube is ads. And with all these ads being pulled by major companies like Disney and Warner Brothers.
I built a commerce platform for a Fortune 500 company using nothing but Markdown. Okay.
All of a sudden, YouTube ad revenue starts dropping off the cliff, and people are making 70, 80% less on ads. The exact same type of thing that you're now seeing on Twitch.
You need to get the program Devin Nash is using. It's Uber-based for mapping shit out. Wait, I can't tell if you're trolling me or not. He's using Obsidian. Destiny, bro. Every stream is boring. Play video games again. Goddamn. Stop cussing! 15-minute timeout. Not until you're 18, okay? He's using Excalidraw? Oh. Oh, no, wait. That's an add-on for Obsidian, yeah. Okay.
With people reporting that they're losing 80 to 90% of their ads. And we'll explain why that is happening in a minute. because essentially what is happening here is that this is a problem with ad targeting. So you see these words of ad targeting here. What YouTube had to do to fix this problem was YouTube said, okay, we're in serious trouble if we don't fix this problem. The main way that the main way that we make money on YouTube and creators make money is ads. And recently this has become increasingly true for Twitch as advertisers have given Twitch a chance. And now advertising is a pretty significant form of income.
Here's the truth. Apparently Devin tweeted this 1 minute ago. Jesus Christ. It's true that the Twitch Adpocalypse from an actual ad buyer. I've seen too much confusion and bad data on this issue. Are individual streamers to blame? What's going on with streamers getting demonetized? Oh, let's go. Yes, it's not a problem with Twitch. It doesn't keep me pace. The growth of digital advertising, which increased 7.4%. Recently, multiple key advertisers paused ads on Twitch. The catalyst for this pause increased media attention on high-risk content. Rushing to apply CCLs that we'll talk about later. But in my opinion, Twitch is not losing advertisers primarily for this reason. They're gone and might stay gone for more practical reasons we'll discuss below. Our ad budget is not created equal. Twitch is created a niche ad product or experimental budget. Most agencies don't know if Twitch ads work or not, so they assign a small percentage of their budget to see. The rest of their budget goes to tried and true market leaders like AdSense Meta. That makes sense. Okay. So the first thing to understand is what a niche ad product underperforms and or has controversy. It is this would be the first thing to go probably, right? Is your experimental advertising budgets, right? As advertisers, we evaluate where we spend budget on 4 factors in this order. ROAS, return on advertiser spend. Do the ads actually work? Do they make us money? Targeting, how well can I control the ads I run? Can I control where they show up? Can I control if they end up on ineffective/bad placements? And demographics, how relevant are the viewers of these ads to the client's product I'm selling? Brand safety, will the ad run alongside content that's to my client? Twitch ranks the lowest of any non-adult digital ad spending options on all 4. If you understand this, you understand the truth of the Twitch adpocalypse. It just said it sucks to run ads on Twitch. There's no real drama or individual streamer bringing down the website. Some are doing more damage than others, but overall, the system itself is antiquated and ineffective, especially compared to incredible options like AdSense Meta or even TikTok. There's little sense in running ads. We're in a game publisher. I've never seen any strong case studies that show success on Twitch ad campaigns. There's an opportunity for someone at Twitch sells a DME running. Okay, whatever. Good enough. That's probably true. Twitch is pretty dog shit for ads.
For people that are on Twitch. So if we don't fix this problem, well, we don't have YouTube. YouTube's gone.
Wait, somebody said DOS was already big when you got the sponsorship, though there's certainly no Philco. Okay, listen, I truly am a humble man. I do not over-exaggerate my influence in areas, but I will absolutely say in the beginning, unless there was a huge corporate market that I missed, but it would not surprise me if I was responsible for like 20 to 50% of the DOS keyboards that were sold initially. I was literally the largest streamer in the world. Mechanical keyboards were not that popular, and that was like the hallmark of my stream was the clicky keys and what are those, and then linking to DOS, because I don't even think was the DOS keyboard the first mechanical switch on the market? There's no way that can be true, right? But I don't know if any other keyboard company that made gaming keyboards had mechanical switches. I don't know if Logitech or anybody else had. Cope, it was all G's doing. Oh yeah, G, what with its like 100 active posters back then? I'm sure.
And so what they decided to do was they decided to start doing what's called CCLs, or content classification labels. And the very early version of this addressed things like political content, addressed things like offensive content, violence, vulgar language, and things like that. YouTube started to develop machine learning so that the algorithm could...
He's the 9th most watched streamer by hours watched, covering the 2024 presidential election, beating Deepak, Brian, Tyler Cohen, the Young Turks, Majority FM. He's the only left liberal in the top 10. The rest are right-wingers, except Tanzania, who's a communist. The top individual streamers covered U.S. election on election day. Are these viewer hours watched? Is that what it's ranking here? 809 by hours watched. Is that what it must be going by, right? Crowder is botted for sure. I don't know if I trust any of these Rumble numbers. I wonder if I bet this doesn't count my second stream either. The Bridges stream. Although I don't know. Yeah. Top left it says by hours watched. Yeah, but it'd be by viewer hours, right? Yeah. CCV multiplied by how long they're watching for, or whatever. Jesus. This guy spamming 271k Jews died in the Holocaust. I mean, that's true, right? And then 5.73 million died as well, right? One Jew died in the Holocaust. It's true, right? One and. Isn't it like when people say, like, are you taller than him or are you shorter than him? And you're like, yes. I am one or the other, right? SteelSeries had a mechanical keyboard with a 7G in 2010 at least. I don't remember that at all. They might have, I just don't remember it. Contact Brian Tyler Cole. Need Mark Cuban on the show. Yeah, maybe I should. Brian seems like a cool dude. Can't wait to see how this bridge will burn. He was messaging me for trying to talk to his Twitch contact to see about unbanning me, but I don't think he has any idea how fucked that whole line of things is. One thing I'll talk about in the future, or I guess we can talk about it a little bit right now. We'll talk about it later. Actually, fuck, I'm too lazy to do this right now. Okay, where were we?
Could detect this kind of stuff, and you could still post it on YouTube. They're not going to remove it from YouTube.
I'm pretty sure people were using mechanical keyboards before computers even existed. The cherry switches were a new design that hadn't been used. I think the Model M's were the most popular ones, and I think they were buckling springs, I think was the actuation. I think they were buckling springs. I don't remember when cherry keys were invented, but I think cherry keys, typewriters were not, oh, I'm sorry. When I say mechanical switches, I'm referring to, I'm referring to actuators on digital keyboards. Obviously, typewriters are a form of mechanical whatever because there's no digital anything, but that's, I mean, that's like saying an ordinary piano is a mechanical switch, but that's not what we're talking about, right? Yeah, but isn't cherry a different type of mechanical switch? But there were other mechanical ones before that, right? I don't know what mechanical ones were before cherry switches. I'm not sure. Did Destiny's 36? I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure I'm 35. But okay, where were we?
YouTube. But the problem is that you can't have ads on it. So that led to many creators being demonetized. And at first, through 2017 to 2019, this was a really painful process. What ended up happening was a lot of people got demonetized, and they didn't deserve to get demonetized because the YouTube classification system was weak. So from 2017 to 2019, many creators lost money, and some even quit, and many quit actually. Many quit, and many careers were ruined. People that were previously okay with ads or making full-time income off of YouTube, maybe they had like a let's say like a guns and ammo channel or something like that, now are suddenly being demonetized for every single video. And even today in 2024, this is not a completely perfect process.
Seeing a lot of clips of you on Twitter being suddenly amplified to make you look bad. Going forward, you're going to try to modify your rhetoric. No. I mean, I think there's the Tim Pool stuff. I think Roseanne responded to one of my tweets, and then the Hassan stuff. It's just all the ordinary stuff, all the normal stuff, all the usuals.
But it is now the best content classification system that exists anywhere. So YouTube did successfully go through this period of pain by spending billions of dollars and building a machine learning platform that now properly identifies this kind of content. And as a result, we have a YouTube that is a better place for everyone. Now, I'm sure there are many people who would kind of disagree with that. They're wrong. I mean, YouTube is the biggest video platform, and the amount of content that it serves successfully while simultaneously enabling so many careers is incredible. And that is kind of a miracle that this happened. So now, if you understand the 2017 Adpocalypse on YouTube, it literally is a copy and paste of that over onto Twitch. Instead of PewDiePie...
Yeah, true. You want some optics? Huh. I hate... No, I'm just kidding. Stop. Stop!
It is this particular streamer named Hassan the Hun who is being basically crucified for extreme takes, which lots of people are just saying are absolutely not appropriate for the platform. I actually tend to agree with that opinion, and I think that those things shouldn't be here. In fact, in my tweet, I called for a ban on all extremist content, And I think people are criticizing me, even at this moment. Those notifications popping up are probably people criticizing me. And I think they might think that I'm taking a particular side, but my standpoint is that because Twitch has failed to create this content classification system, and you can see that they're trying to do it. So there have been some improvements in it over time, particularly the, let's see, like you're seeing like these new labels. So this was just announced where Twitch will soon launch these new classification labels for politics and sensitive social issues. Creators who create this content must label their streams. Viewers can hide this, or viewers can hide this content. Advertisers can opt out of ads. So you're seeing like the very first type of this type of thing happening, where advertisers can opt out of this stuff to create a YouTube like system.
I don't know why people do this. Cherry released its own mechanical keyboards with its own Cherry MX Blacks in the early '80s. Yes, that's not relevant to the conversation, right? Like somebody asked, like, oh, like when did this thing get invented? When was this popular, whatever? And somebody's like, well, actually, the very first iteration of it was actually in 1972. And it's like, okay, yeah, the market share was 0.0001%. Nobody cares when like a thing was like the very first iteration, invention, product that sold 7 pieces, okay, to family members, right? I don't think Cherry MX switches got popular until, my guess would be the 2010s. But it was invented in '84 and 3 keyboards were sold. I don't know. Or if there was a popular product that was sold, then shoot it to me. But my understanding is dome switches were just like ubiquitous throughout the entire, like everybody's used dome switch keyboards. This is my understanding. I could be wrong, but link me products, but not like don't watch it. The first one was really
system. Now, my take is very extreme, and I think a lot of people are not representing it correctly because I believe that Twitch will not develop the system fast enough. They don't have the billions of dollars that YouTube has, and they're going to bleed out before they're able to build this system. So the simple thing to do is simply ban all political and extremist content until you can solve this problem. But we'll keep going on that. We'll address that. It's kind of important to understand, like, here's why the revenue is the way that it is, and like why streamers are losing this revenue. Basically, you have a bucket, okay? So we'll draw a bucket. We'll draw a white bucket. It's our bucket, okay? And in the bucket is some water. And you got to pretend that the water is the ads. It's full of ads, okay? And then there's a bunch of really thirsty streamers all over the place, okay? Here's the thirsty streamer. We'll move this over here. Okay, so like here's a thirsty streamer, and we're gonna copy and paste him many times because there are lots of them. Okay, he's all over the place. Look at all these people that need that water. They're very, very thirsty. Oh, that one's just a head. Maybe he's just a React streamer, so he doesn't have a full body because his content's not so good. Okay, so everybody's got to drink, but the problem is that if there's not enough water in the bucket, then some people are just gonna not be able to drink. And that's the situation you have here. In a healthy ecosystem, there's going to be enough water in the bucket so that everybody drinks and everybody makes money. But when there isn't enough ads, you see there's a concept called filter.
How much does a brand care about where its ads are showing compared to the website content in general? I mean, there's going to be buckets for all of these categories. Like, advertisers care where ads are being shown because of these reasons, right? They want to show ads to people that are more likely to buy their product, and they want to make sure they're being shown to the correct demographic. Now, if there are other demographics or other things on this platform that aren't relevant to them, that's fine as long as they can target appropriately. But if there's destructive content on the platform, it's probably okay for there to be in smaller amounts or not as extreme, as long as their ads don't show up on it at all. But if it's really extreme content, so this is going to basically be, really you're just talking about porn online, maybe hardcore political stuff like Nazi Daily Stormer type stuff, basically just those two categories, or like death videos or shit, I guess. But nobody advertise. Well, no, probably the same bucket that advertise on porn will advertise there. Advertisers generally don't want to be involved in that stuff at all, I think. So.
Fill rate, and basically that fill rate is just not being served to enough people, and people are losing revenue. And you're going to see this continue as the adpocalypse of Twitch goes forward. Now, the trouble is that there's like no real reason for this bucket to be refilled because unless Twitch fundamentally solves the content classification problems, they're not going to be able to put more water in this bucket. And in fact, it's going to be a much bigger problem than that, and we will get into what that problem is. But first, if you're here at 11 minutes in a Devin Nash video, it's right. It's time for the secret call out. It's been one for a while. You got to post. It is exactly 11:18. So 11:18. Post in the comment section that you're still here. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting this channel. My name is Devin Nash, and I make videos about marketing, content creation, and new media in the business world. And if you benefited from something I made, I would love you to subscribe and also check out the Patreon, patreon.com/DevinNash. It's in the link below in the description. It has over 150 videos about marketing and business, how I run businesses, and how I do everything. It's super good for $5. That's all it is. I'm not selling anything, no course, nothing like that.
Wow.
It's $5 gets you in the door, or you can go to our weekly masterminds at the $20 tier. So your support would mean a lot because this channel takes a little bit, costs a bit to run. So I would appreciate any help, or maybe just benefit it, and I'd appreciate that. So, okay, we're going to go on to showing kind of what's next and what's going to happen. Well, Twitch obviously needs to fill this bucket back up with nice, healthy water to feed all of the React streamers. Okay, they're very thirsty right now. And to fill that bucket back up is no simple task. There's going to be a couple of things that have to happen. I mean, the content label system is a kind of first step to that. But the problem is that advertisers have to have two reasons to be on the website, right? Number one, they've got to feel like the website is safe for their ads. And if this content still exists on the website and it's being featured, that is it doesn't really matter that it's demonetized, because if everybody is still making Wall Street Journal articles about this, and advertisers are getting pounded in emails over and over again saying, hey, look at this thing that you're representing, it doesn't matter. It's like, that's why some people don't understand. They're like, oh, well, why can't we have pornography on Twitch? Well, we could just put it in a separate category, demonetize it. Well, because it's still there. It's like,
while that's true, this is only going to apply to like the highest risk content. Like, there's going to be stuff that advertisers are probably okay with being on the platform that they don't want their ads being next to, but there's going to be stuff that they don't want to be on even the same platform for, which is going to be the terrorist, basically like terrorist Nazi shit, porn, or like murder videos. Yeah.
The same reason why you can't advertise on a website like Pornhub or something, right? Like, if as soon as you make room for that type of content.
Why have I never seen a filler ad on YouTube the same way Twitch has those a commercial is running ads? I'm gonna do a huge software development guess. Good luck. My guess is going to be that YouTube probably has a far more sophisticated way of targeting you and serving an ad. And if you have an effective ad blocker or some way to get in between that process, then nothing happens at all. But YouTube probably has smarter ways, my guess is, to counter ad blocks. But Twitch is probably using cruder methods of delivering advertisements, to where if they try to serve an ad and they try to get a verification back from your client that you've seen an ad and they don't get that verification, they don't have a more sophisticated way to deal with that. So they just throw up a fuck you page saying like, oh, there's an ad running now. We know you got ad blocked, and there's no better way to do it. That's my guess, but I mean, I could be wrong on that. Yeah. Also, yeah, that'd be my guess. YouTube also is able to serve different types of ads and in different ways. Like, I might open a video and one person might get 15 seconds worth of ads, another person might get 30 seconds, like 2 ads or whatever. YouTube might serve those up differently. On Twitch, it's a very hard, like, the streamer pushed a 1-minute ad break button. So now we're all going to sit here for 1 minute. So the delivery is more consistent to the viewer and on the streamer end. So then Twitch knows what to block out. Like, oh, if you're not watching an ad right now, you should be. It's a whole minute where you're being paused, right? Maybe, but... Destiny, the Cherry 80s keyboards were super successful in the realm of peripherals. They haven't released sales numbers, but they still make them this day. Called one of the most successful keyboards by Cherry. Not much market. Okay, I guess these were just incredibly popular keyboards that me or none of my gamer friends had ever heard of through 2010 to 2011 before Lost, I guess, started making theirs. I guess so. I guess we're all just fucking retarded or something. I'm not sure, but okay. Thank you for this. Although, actually, looking at your website, the MX key switch is introduced and quickly becomes a success. It is still produced today. Billions of MX switches equip millions of keyboards around the world, around the globe, which are on this channel. This is for today. In '88, they launch a keyboard that is one of the most successful, now oldest keyboard series in the world. Okay, I don't know what that means. And then Cherry launches its first health card keyboard in Germany. Okay, for hospitals. And then I see they launched a keyboard in 1998. From 1998 to 2014, there's nothing here, I guess. And then I think in 2014, with the implementation of these Cherry keys, and it was even a little before this probably, because like I said, I'm pretty sure DOS Keyboard used those MX Blue switches. I feel like, somebody can correct me wrong. I feel like the DOS Keyboard was the first popular Cherry switch keyboard. Like in widespread, like the most popular one. But hey, somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. They were priced out of the market by cheaper rubber keyboards, no? Yes, that's rubber dome switches. That was always my understandings. These were by far the more popular keyboard type. They were much cheaper. Everybody just used rubber dome switch keyboards. This was just like the go-to for everybody, basically. The Tober Type Heaven keyboard was nice. Yeah, but they were always way too expensive. I had those at one point, but... You're right in the 1990 to 2000s that dome membrane keyboards were popular for being cheap, but people still preferred mechanical for professional use cases. Yeah, I don't doubt that. But outside of like professional like people, like nobody used anything but dome keyboard. Yeah, I'm sure in like the programming world. I mean, I'd always heard of the IBM, the Model M, but I don't know if that's just like a jerk off or not, that was a popular board. But like, yeah, obviously other people are using, in the professional world, but like professional programmers and all that, this is a much smaller class of people, an elite class of people, right?
On the platform, you are now allowing that type of content on the platform, and it's going to be associated with those advertisers, even if it's not directly there. And so you say, well, okay, well, how did YouTube solve this problem? Well, YouTube doesn't surface content to people that don't want to see it. So if you turn off certain settings, or actually you just aren't, like, you will never, not only will your ads never appear, but you'll never actually see that kind of like extreme sexual content or anything like that on YouTube, because your algorithm just feeds that stuff out. And you can also just specify that you don't want to see it. There's all kinds of different options that you can do for safety. So even though that stuff exists on YouTube, it's really, really buried. But the problem is that Twitch is not like that. Twitch is a kingmaker system. The people that have more viewers tend to rise to the top of every category. And so it's impossible to ignore somebody like Hassan, who has 30,000 viewers, or you know, even a Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat obviously doesn't do anything controversial in my view, but I'm just using him as an example to, like, he's always at the top of the category. So if he did do something like that, it would represent the entire website, whether you demonetize him or whether you put the ads off or not. So this is a problem, I think, that's unique to Twitch as a live streaming platform, and something that they can't just get out of by just like demonetizing categories and throwing people into those categories. And this is why on my tweet I said, in my profile, wherever that button is, I said that this isn't just a simple matter of throwing them into a category. You can try forcing this content into categories and demonetizing, but it's too far gone. The Twitch kingmaker system still throws that content to the top of discovery. You can't fool advertisers, really. But it's a stopgap that might help temporarily, and then, you know, lo and behold, like 6 days later, they come out with content classification labels to do exactly that. So everything's been along the lines of everything has proceeded exactly as I have foreseen, right? And that's all fine, but the problem is that Twitch has some fundamental issues that YouTube got through, that because it's a VOD platform, that Twitch as a live platform is going to be a little bit more challenged by. It's kind of uncertain what's going to happen there. The other problem, I mentioned there was two, right? One is that whole thing I just said about like you got to feel like you're safe, okay? So like brand safety is obviously one issue over here, okay? But the second issue is, do the ads work? Okay, and that's something we just have to talk about also. And the truth of that, sadly, is like, at least as coming from a guy.
Why are the loner bros still trying to cancel you? Because that whole mod team is fucking wild, woke, crazy, and cringe. But I don't care. They can do their thing. That's fine. I like loner. I don't care. That's fine. I don't have to like his community. They don't have to like me. That's okay. Totally okay.
Who runs a huge budget of ads across all different platforms. That's like literally my job that I do at my brand advertising agency. I work for brands, and I try to figure out what is the most effective way to advertise these products and services for these brands. Is it Instagram? Is it UGC? What is it, right? And that's my whole day. That's all I do. This whole content creation thing is part-time. Well, Twitch is not good for running ads unless you're a publisher, game publisher. If you're playing video games, that's pretty good. But for other stuff, it doesn't convert that well. And there's a bunch of reasons for that kind of go beyond the scope of this video. The demographic doesn't tend to like to spend money. They tend to trend younger. They tend to not have as much disposable income. They tend to be power users, meaning they kind of live in basements and they're like, in their parents' house and stuff. So not the best people to serve ads to. And as a result, Twitch really can't challenge what we would call a CPM, which is like a cost per 1,000 views of like what YouTube has. Like YouTube is just much better to advertise on. There's like actually no real reason to advertise on Twitch, again, unless you're a video game company. But video game companies are not going to be enough to prop up an entire website, which like Twitch. So the ads don't work. And the problem is that, like, let's say, I think one important thing, I didn't know I was going to talk about this, but here we go, okay, is there's a thing called, there's ad budgets, okay? And ad budgets usually comprise of a kind of like main budget. And let's say that's like, let's say the total budget is like $5 million. Maybe like 4,700,000 of that or something is going to be the main budget, and that's going to go to like traditional stuff like PPC, which is like Google AdWords stuff, maybe like stuff that works before, like billboard advertisements, stuff like that, digital marketing ads and stuff like that, stuff that's really comfortable. And then 300,000 of that is going to be what's called like the experimental budget. Okay, and the experimental budget is when they tell us in the agency world, hey, this is the money that we suggest to them, like, hey, here's the money that you could allocate to kind of things that might be much higher risk, but also much higher reward. Twitch is solely in this experimental budget. Nobody runs Twitch as part of their main budget. That would be a crazy thing to do because Twitch is really risky. So when an experimental budget goes wrong, it's often the first and easiest thing to cut. It's also interesting because when you see somebody like, let's say Ford or like Mazda or somebody is advertising on Twitch, or like or like Colgate or somebody, you go, oh wow, like Twitch must be really going on the up and up. They are getting all these big advertisers and everything is like amazing. Well, actually, the problem is that that's like an experimental budget. budget. So Ford is running $150,000 on Twitch of their $400 million marketing budget. All of a sudden, that doesn't sound as impressive, right? And you can kind of understand why it's so easy for somebody like Ford to like get a few emails, and they're like, wait, how much are we spending on the ad budget there? And the agency just cuts it, right? Like instantly, because it's way too risky to run that ad budget. So that's the kind of situation we're in. Is like Twitch has a lot of these sort of experimental ad budgets, and as a result, it's really hard to justify keeping these ad budgets on Twitch. And the problem is, on top of that, the ads don't work. So in addition to the brand safety thing, it only takes it's not too hard to convince somebody because it's not part of your main budget. It's not produced.
Okay. All right. That's nice.